Doesn't feel like you're ready to start playing it safe now.
Absolutely not.
I mean, I just saw Rebel Moon Part 2. There's nothing in there that's safe.
Yeah.
And I saw the PG-13.
Yeah, PG-13 is a joke. As far as its safeness goes. It is. I can't wait for you to see the R-rated version.
I can't wait.
What's up, you guys? It's Didodi. You know, I was sitting over here thinking about the fact that universally Rebel Moon is a sweep. Everybody loves it. It's like the most talked about thing ever. It's 5 stars here, 10 stars there. Everybody loves it. And I was thinking about just making a whole page dedicated, just make another channel dedicated strictly to Rebel Moon. Like, that's niche. Like, you looking for a niche, that's pretty niche. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's for a particular group of people. Anyway, I was looking at some stuff, and your boy Josh Horowitz is a YouTuber, and he does some really cool interviews and stuff. I haven't really watched his channel, but he interviewed Zack Snyder, and they were talking about Rebel Moon, and I wanted to touch on a couple things. There were a couple things that were said in the interview that really stood out to me, and I wanted to go over that. So I guess this is a reaction video. Okay, so there's a moment where Josh is talking to Snyder about the choices that are made, the difference in between his R-rated version of Rebel Moon and the PG-13 versions. And Snyder says some really interesting stuff. Check it out.
Approach.
Right, knowing from the beginning, I'm going to get to do it these 2 different ways, essentially.
Literally, we were talking about it, like literally the director's cut is an alternate universe to the PG-13, like literally, because like I was saying that there's even moments where 2 characters are talking like this that's in the PG-13, exact same dialogue, where this is a different take in the R-rated version than, I say the exact same words.
Oh, interesting.
But it's different take than in the PG-13. That's how in the weeds we are with the 2 versions of the movie. Because like maybe in the R-rated version, like Sophia's saying a line that's slightly more emotional in the R-rated version than it is in the PG-13. Because what happens is in the R-rated versions of the movie, everything is amplified because the R-rated versions of the movie have a slightly more satirical, like the PG-13 movies end up being pretty earnest.
Sure.
Because they don't have sort of sex and violence to over the top them. That in the R-rated versions, because the violence is so over the top and the sex is so over the top, that you sort of, the tone changes.
Right.
You know, because you're like, wow, I'm in this heavy metal version of this movie, really in it. And I think that it was sort of unachievable in the PG-13. And so we really doubled down on the sort of earnestness and sort of, and not to say that those scenes don't exist in R-rated, because they do, but they're almost more over the top because I kind of it's funner. You know, it's just crazier. Everything's stupid in a great way.
Now, basically, Zack Snyder is pointing out that these are completely different takes. Like, it's the same thing, but it's different takes. And he also points to the fact that something about satire. Like, there's a reason for this movie. Like, there's a statement being made. And I find that to be particularly interesting because it makes me think of Last Action Hero. Like, I love Last Action Hero, man. Don't fuck with me about that movie. For real, that movie's the shit. And a lot of people didn't like it when it came out. I thought it was amazing. Like, just what was being done with this whole genre. And it seems like whatever statement was made then about the action genre with Last Action Hero, it seems like that's what Zack is doing with this Rebel Moon. Now, how do I know that for sure? No, I don't know, because that other version isn't out yet. But how he talks about how everything's turned up to 11, and it's just so wacky. Like, it's just so far out, you know what I mean? And so that is interesting by itself, because I feel like sci-fi, unless it's something from SYFY, like, it's been pretty much ignored. We've been getting nothing but superhero stuff back to back. There's not a lot of sci-fi stuff we've been getting. So then lately we've been getting these sci-fi things like Dune. Now they're coming out with a Dune TV show, and they had the creator and then this Rebel Moon, which the creator is another world they should expand upon, because everything that was built there definitely was not going to fit in one movie. They need to do more with that. But Rebel Moon is going to expand, and we don't really know what we're going to get yet, because we haven't gotten the version that's trying to make the statement. It's funny how Zack always talks about the PG-13 version. He always calls it very earnest. It's the word he always uses in different interviews that I've seen him talk about the movie. The PG-13 version in particular, he calls it earnest, because it's straightforward. It's a action movie, sci-fi, crazy fantasy movie, you know, a little adventure. You get in and get out, have some, you know, good popcorn fun. And then he talks about the other version as being like this crazy, like I said, just this far out world, this whole other thing, but it's making a point. And that the takes will be a bit different. So that's going to be something to see. That's a little bit different than anything we've ever been given. Granted, we've had a lot of director's cuts, but they've often just felt like extensions of the movies that the theatrical versions. But this isn't that. So Daredevil was a slightly different take. The R-rated Daredevil, the story was a bit different. And now that's the only one I really like. That's the only one I really watch. Whatever's gonna be done with this R-rated version of Rebel Moon sounds pretty exciting. However it goes, I have Dracula, Bela Lugosi Dracula, have that on DVD, and it's a dual-sided disc. So it said that it had the Spanish version on the opposite side of the disc. Well, I had never watched it. And then one day I decided to watch it. This was years ago. I decided, okay, I'll flip the disc over and check out the Spanish version. I think I was doing a little too much one day and just wanted to watch a movie in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. So I was like, whatever. And I turned it on. I just thought it'd be a good laugh. And it was a whole different movie. It was a movie. It was a Mexican version of that Dracula. And bruh, that shit was probably better than the one. I love the Bela Lugosi Dracula. I love it. But when I flipped that disc over, I watched that Mexican version. Bro, they doing everything on the same set. You just see things from a different perspective. And it just felt like a whole different thing. Its own thing. And I have to say, man, I think that version might be better. This version, this video isn't about those versions of Dracula. It's about Rebel Moon and the difference between these two versions of the movie. So what are we going to get here? We really don't know. I'm looking forward to the commercials and the trailers that are going to lead up to this, because these two movies have different titles than Child of Fire and Scargiver. So we're going to have to find out what those are. And I'm pretty sure they'll have their own trailers. So there's going to be new scenes that we'll see in the trailers alone, as far, you know, let alone getting into the movie itself. So there's a lot to look forward to with this. We got the book coming out here in a couple of weeks, and you can click on the link in the description box and take a look at the entire interview. It's pretty cool. I like when he talks about the Rebel Moon stuff. I don't mind going back and talking about the DC stuff here and there, but I'd rather just get on to what he's doing now. So yeah, there's some pretty good stuff that he went over about the movie. So go check out that interview, and thanks for listening. You guys take it easy.